Of the men who voted yes to being sexually abused on my poll, 70% are gay or bisexual. Sadia Khan on the Modern Wisdom podcast, episode 694, said this.
In my experience of working with bisexual men, usually the bisexuality is not always, but can be linked to some childhood sexual abuse. With childhood, and the data also supports this, and the rates of childhood sexual abuse that leads to bisexuality in men is higher than amongst heterosexuals. So usually what happens is they may have experienced some abuse by somebody of the same gender. Now what happens is, as a result of that experience, it still creates a template of sexual desire that they are open to exploring as an adult, as a way of reducing the trauma. When we've been traumatized, the only way that we think we can untraumatize ourselves is by voluntarily re-traumatizing ourselves. So they end up exploring a little bit or being a bit curious and stuff, but maybe they were actually heterosexual, but that trauma led them astray. And if they want to go back to being heterosexual, women aren't as accepting. And so they end up sometimes just going down.
It's a brutal situation that you get into, because you have to either choose to be untruthful to your partner if they ever ask about your sexual history, or agree to open up about something that you're fearful about how they're going to respond.
It is not uncommon to see men begin to treat this like a joke so they can cope or overcorrect or act out in certain ways to regain some sense of power or masculinity. Sometimes more physically, like women purchasing a firearm or taking a self-defense course to feel safe. Men begin to engage in excessive promiscuous sex, sometimes reenacting their own trauma, what Freud referred to as a repetition compulsion. Watch the full documentary free on YouTube.